So what's up, people? This is Jose Trujillo. Hopefully you guys are able to see this. We're gonna be let's see if we can show. Some of this stuff is like super difficult to. Let me see. There we go. There we go. Okay, I see what I need to do. I just need to go a little bit back and then do a little bit of this. That way you guys can see what's up. There we go. So what I'm going to show you right now is how I do some of this oil pastel stuff that I've been talking about. So I'm going to get some blue tape, okay, and then just pre-cut a couple of little pieces of blue tape. Put them aside right here. I feel like I look like a photograph. I've been wearing this sweater for like the past 30 days probably. Maybe it's been washed twice and I'm stretching it. Maybe, I don't know. Hopefully it'll smell good someday. So check this out. I'm going to start right here with this, like that. The next one. A long time ago, I think this is a 150-pound paper, I want to say. Not completely sure, but I want to say. And so I just take some blue tape and I put it on the side, like that. Hopefully you guys are able to see what I'm doing right here. Let me go back a little bit more. There you go. Let's go back a little bit more. See the whole thing. And let me get some more. So how I reinforce it is with this cardboard tape. You can buy it like this, or you can cardboard box tape. Or you can buy the water activated one. The water activated one is very strong. I prefer this one. It's not as strong, but it's very, very strong still. The water activated is just going to, it's going to be like if you put glue there. Let's check it out. I make sure that I put it over the blue tape. That way I'm not touching the paper. What touches the paper is the blue tape only. Okay, and I'm going to get a couple more pieces. That's a lot of tape that we use for this kind of stuff. But it's well worth it. God, it's got a mess. I feel like I've been super messy. And so there's a couple of ways of doing this. Another way of doing it is, I used to do this in a studio, in an older studio, where I would have a pole, whether it's metal or wood, a wooden dowel pole running through here, and then just stick the paper and then just pull down and tape only the bottom part and the top part, and then cut it as I needed to, and just pull it down. Kind of like the ones for kids, but for an adult. What kind of paper is it? No, you're not late. I just got started. Let me see the type of paper that it is, because I have other rolls here of that same paper. Let me show you. So I was wrong. It's 70-pound paper. It's not 150, so it's half of that. This is Strathmore drawing paper. Okay, it's 42 by 10 yards, 42 inches by 10 yards. It's really good paper. I buy it and I buy it in rolls like this. I have a few of them. I try to keep a lot of paper, since most of my work on paper is it's just a lot of fun. So I try to use a lot. What's up? What's up, everyone? So let's get started. I'm gonna show you, for example, some of the. Let me do a figure here. Maybe do one of my angels with oil pastel. So I got a little piece of oil pastel right here. Okay, this is oil pastel. Very simple. So I just go and I start drawing. Okay. This is the little face. Let me get out of the way, that way you can see. Okay, you can use references, whatever. This is just to show you how I do this. Okay. Oops. Sometimes you break it. You can get a good idea here of how I have fun with this stuff. And then we start reinforcing, right? We start reinforcing, really get in there. This makes any sense. I used to be a muralist, so large format doesn't really scare me. Some people find it very difficult, and I think it's just a little bit of practice. You know, I love large format. I used to do frescoes and fresco secos, and the way to capture it is fast, right? Especially if you're doing frescoes. The way to capture it is fast. You can't take your sweet time with it. This is the signature. Amazing drawing skills. Thank you so much. Love the freedom in this. Yeah, it's got to be free. It's got to be very, very free. This is oil pastels. And it's pretty much that. Again, some people, you know, just depends. If you're painting expressionism the way that I do, this is my cup of tea. Some people it's not. Some people they're like, oh my God, it doesn't have shades and all that bullshit, right? But I like expressionism, and so this is my cup of tea. Incredible drawing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so what do we do when we're finished with it? Very simple. Usually what I do is I take a photo of it, right? I take a photo of it and then I cut it. First I take a photo, then I cut it, and then I move on to another one. If I'm in a mood, I'll do about 10 or 20 of these in a day, and then just keep moving and keep moving. Just depending on what the mood is. Why don't you post this kind of drawings on your feed? Usually because I focus so much on the oils that that is a good question. I just focus so much on the oils that I don't, you know. But yeah, I guess I should be posting more of this stuff too, because this stuff is my first love. This stuff is the kind of stuff that I move towards. Of course, it's a never-ending story, but at some point, because it's at some point you have to finish it, right? You have to keep moving and moving and doing little things and whatnot. But you know, the way that I work on them is I just keep moving and moving. So let me do another one, that way you guys can see a little bit more. And I may regret a little that I'm not taking the photos, because then taking the photos is a beast. Because now I have to rehang it, but it's okay. It doesn't matter. All for the sake of art. We're going to do it this way. For the sake of the examples here. So this is why I use the blue tape, because the blue tape doesn't really eat on the paper. It doesn't hurt it really. And then we can keep using the same blue tape. All I have to do is kind of do this thing right here. And just move it aside. Oil takes forever to dry. It takes like months to dry. Oil sticks. They just do, it's their nature. There we go. All right. Let's do another one. So I do the same thing. Yeah, that's why it's almost always better to work from top to bottom, or pre-cut them. But it's okay. We're gonna do it like this right now, just to show you guys what can be done. There we go. And then I can cut it. Let me just cut this one, because I don't want it to get super messy on me. And it'll be a lot more difficult to control it. There we go. As a matter of fact, I'm going to flip it. Whoop. Troubleshooting already. Alright. Let's flip it. That way it's not super messy. It only looks like I know what I'm doing to a certain point, and then I look like a clown here. I'm clowning around with this thing. All right. Let me cut some more tape. This is the part where you get an assistant. Get a little bit more tape. I'll show you guys what I'm doing. Let me just make sure that I don't show plumber's butt here. There we go. Here's one. Here's the other one. Down here. One. And here's the other one. All right. There we go. Woo! I think the hard work is moving this stuff around. That's more like the hard work. Putting this thing together. All right. Let me get a little bit of tape. Those of you who are brave enough to stick around, let's do another drawing. All right. Here we go. So again, oil pastels, or it can be charcoal. It doesn't really matter what you're using. I need some water, man. This thing wears me out. Who says being an artist is not hard work? They're bullshitting you if they say that. This shit is a lot of hard work. Okay, so again, right? Let me stick to what I've been doing. I start out with a very simple look, just very simple eyes. Okay? Just like that. There we go. It's like Beetlejuice. Drawing doors to other dimensions. There we go. This is the thing with pastels. They break on you so easy. There we go. Do this customers frame? Do the customers frame this after buying them, or do you frame them? I used to frame them. But shipping frame pieces this large is it's just a whole song and dance. Usually they have to be created, and we used to frame them in acrylic glaze, or otherwise known as plexiglass. But it's not really plexiglass because it's a different. Plexiglass is a brand, I think. So there's different brands of acrylic glazing. The proper name is acrylic glazing. It's just acrylic glass. And there's different styles. Like there's low glare, there's regular glare, low glare, and non-glare, which is the one that museums use and high-end galleries. Usually, to frame something like this, I would have to crate it, and it's a whole song and dance. I do it for someone who wants to, who's really interested in that. But I recommend just having it framed with your local framer, unless somebody just doesn't want to go through the trouble of that. I do it, but most people just buy them rolled and then they have it framed with their local framer. Yeah, these are some really fun pieces, some really cool stuff that I do. I offer most of this type of work. I offered it on Saatchi Art, just because I found that people like more contemporary stuff and large format there. At least my contemporary stuff, my large format. I don't know if everybody else's. Do you use color in frescoes and murals to do what you do to paint those? I used to. I don't do those anymore. The way I started is I started with artists from. I'm originally from Guadalajara, Mexico, and so I started learning from artists who were master muralists, and I was a helping hand. And you learn how to draw fast, accurate and fast. You have to because you're creating artwork with people who are not playing around. They're very, very serious artists. People call them artisans, but they're artists. It's just it sounds. I guess people pay them less if they call them artisans or something like that. But there's quite a few of them. There was, anyways, in Guadalajara, where I'm originally from. Glass blowing and mural work is really the strong suit of artists there. Let's see. What fixative do you use? I don't use fixative for this. This is oil pastel. This is not charcoal. I also use charcoals, and the charcoals I use for this large format are large, thick charcoal vines like this. Oil pastel takes a bit longer to dry. Takes months. Takes about 3-4 months, and it's dry. I ship it like that anyways. I don't, people want it. I ship it. I put we have a system that we use here. We use wax paper, and so any excess gets rubbed on the wax paper as opposed to other paper. And the reason why I like using wax paper, not only because I didn't come up with that, this is a professional practice in shipping. It's because the wax paper takes care of the other parts of the paper here, and so that's why. If that makes any sense. Akash as well. I'm speechless. Seems like a very single stroke has a purpose. Yeah, absolutely. The whole thing has its own little. Yeah, nothing is done in vain. Everything has every stroke has a purpose. Every line has a purpose. So yeah, that's pretty much that. There it is. Let's see what it measures, so that way you guys can get an idea. Let me get my measuring tape. So usually a work of art this size, I sell it between, is, you know, framed in a gallery, I sell it between 3 and 5K depending on the size. 3 and 5K. When I sell them directly to the customer, I sell them for around $1,000. Nothing really less. Maybe sometimes I'll go for 700, depending on the size. Again, this is a very large size. So this one is 5 feet or 60 inches by 42, I think the paper is. Yeah, 42 by 60. So if you think about it, it's a very large size. If you add a mat to it, if you add any matting to it, you're talking about, at least for it to look anywhere good, it should be at least 6 inches of matting. 4 inches would be too little, but I think it should be about 6 inches of matting around it. And now you're really, you know, it's an impact piece. It's no bullshit. It's an impact piece. It's something to sit there and mucho macho, man. I love that. It's something to sit there and talk about for after dinner and that type of stuff. So an impact, or what do they call them also? Conversation pieces. It's just a kick-ass piece. And it's minimalism. It's for contemporary spaces, right? Or people who love them. It doesn't have to be a contemporary space, but people who just love contemporary, postmodernist art, that type of deal. Very simple stuff. Let me walk you through it so you can see right here. It's very simple. What matters most is the format, really. It's a very adventurous format. Very, very adventurous. Let me give you scale too, because some people can't see the scale. So this is your average piece of paper. You know, you go to Etsy or whatever, right? Or here on Instagram or whatever. This is your average 9x12 sheet of paper that most artists draw this type of stuff on. It's the 9x12. So as you can see, look at that. Just to give you an idea of the size and scale. It's pretty large. I have some larger paper. I'm going to be doing some larger stuff. I got some ideas that I'm going to be working on. I'm working on some buffaloes, and I'm going to scale them up. Wonder if the bird pooped on the shoulder? Probably. That's the conversation you're going to have with your friends. Those are the type of conversations. So yeah, there it is, my friends. This is the type of artwork that it's my cup of tea. The other stuff I love doing, and I'm very happy. I love painting. I love using brushes and palette knives and all that other shit. But this is my cup of tea. If you want to know more about me, this is the kind of stuff I do, because it takes me back to my years in mural as a muralist. It's floral works with this format. If color, oil, pastel works with the format, absolutely works with the format. As a matter of fact, I'm going to give you a little taste of it. So let me go put this away, and I'll do a floral. Those of you who want to stick around, you can. That way you can see. It doesn't really matter what you use or what you're painting. What matters is that the artist is able to express fully in a format this size. It's a different movement. I'm moving my shoulder now. You know, when you're doing something small, you're doing this. You're doing a lot of this. At most, you're moving your elbow. This is different. This is now you're moving your shoulder. This is some Picasso shit. It's different. Okay, so I'm gonna go take this one. All right, let's do another one. That way you guys can see. Let me cut the pieces of tape really quick before we move on. That way I'm not running and trying to find that. Very, very simple stuff, but it's artist stuff, you know. It's artist stuff. It's not this is more serious stuff. It's not you know. It's not gonna take on my little drawing thing, you know. This takes me back to feeling like an artist. Format is very important, I think, for artists or serious collectors. Format is very important because they're impact pieces. Right? You know they weren't, whoever created them wasn't playing around. They've been at it for a while. All right. Let's get the other one. Let's see. This is awesome. Thanks for showing us the process. Thank you so much. Amber says, item, I'm loving this and working along. Very cool. All right. Well, let me get some more paper again. And because I used charcoal. Charcoal is very messy. Not charcoal, I mean pastel. Oil pastel is very messy. Any pastel, but especially oil pastel, happens to be very messy. So here we go. Put one right there. Put the next one. Put the next one right over here. There we go. One right there. Okay. One right here. I need another one. One right there. There we go. There we go. And let's cut this bad boy. There it is. So the paper is not very, very expensive, but it's not cheap either for artists who want to try this. If you are not used to this and you just want to practice, I highly suggest getting plotter paper. It's very thin plotter paper for printing, for architects and sign makers and that type of stuff. It's about $100 a roll, and you get many hundred. I don't know how many feet you get. You get like 100 feet or something, like many dozens of feet. That's what I try to say. And you can practice with that, you know, and play around with it. I don't suggest selling that one, just because it's too thin. It's almost like what is it called? Newsprint. It's very thin, and so there might be some trouble storing it, putting it away, or shipping it, or framing it, because it's so thin. It easily rips. This stuff doesn't. This stuff is you know, it's 70 pounds. It's still very strong. Okay, so what did I say we're gonna do? Let me see if I have a. Okay. So I have some more oil pastel here. Let me show you what this thing is about. So you asked me if you could do still life. So I'm gonna do a still life like the florals that I do in my oils, and we're gonna do them with an oil pastel here. Okay. Let's go. Let me get some water. This man gets tired. All right. So very simple again, you know, the approach is the same way. We're going to to undo on me here. Let me put more tape. There we go. Okay. You can't have fear with this kind of stuff. If you have fear, it'll show. This kind of stuff, you have to own this shit. If you're not ready for it, like I say, practice on another format, or practice with paper that you don't feel like you're wasting. Uno grande sketching tool. There we go. It's that simple. Very simple stuff. I mean, if you're a perfectionist, you know, fuck this, don't try it. Do something else. You're in the long run. You're in the long line of work if you're a perfectionist. But if you like having fun and you want to try something else, this is the stuff right here. This is it. And then of course you can use different colors. And then bam. Simple like that. Let me see, let me clean my hands. So again, what does this one measure? Now this format, you can do it watercolor, I mean, you name it, ink. The paper is not so well for watercolor though. I think it's too thin for watercolor. This type of paper, this 70 pounds. I mean, I think you can definitely do it, but it'll start looking like, you know, so like broken, like it'll start to break. I don't mind if it bends, if it concaves, or whatever. Yeah, water. I think water concaves. No, water expands. I'm sorry, oil concaves. So I don't mind that if it expands and it starts bending. I don't mind that. But shit, I do know what I'm talking about, huh? I just don't want it to break, right? When you apply water on it. So I prefer 150 pounds for water and more. At least 150 pounds if you're going to be using water. If you're going to use water just to create line work, like for example, ink, like black ink or red ink or whatever, I think this one's okay. 70 pounds, I think it's okay if you're just gonna do this lines, right? Line work. It'll wrinkle, it'll break or wrinkle, very little, but it's part of it. It's just part of it. It's like rice paper, right? When those of you who have used sumi brushes or anything like that, any Japanese style, you use very thin paper. You use very delicate paper, and so it does wrinkle, but it only wrinkles in the parts where the water is, and it's okay because it's meant to do that. It's okay. But if you're applying like lots of water to create watercolor, if you're applying like with a large brush, if you're filling areas, then that's different. That I would suggest using a thicker paper. Me gusta mucho el trazo así despreocupado. La única forma de pintar es despreocupado. Art by Mary says, where are you from? Yo soy de Culiacán. ¿Qué hubole? Yo soy de Jalisco. Ahí, por ahí estamos cerca, no muy cerca, pero algo cerca. Oh, Vivek says it's sketching too. I thought you said sketching tool, Vivek. I was like, yeah, we are sketching tools. Gotcha. Yeah, so that is pretty much that. Let me show you what size. Again, this measures 42 inches by 68. No, 66. I apologize. So 42 by 66 inches. It's a really nice large format. It's super kick-ass. Will you spray a fixative? No, it's not charcoal. This is oil pastel. If it was somos paisanos, claro, como no. If it was charcoal, I would have applied a fixative. The way that I apply fixatives in these large ones with charcoal is I follow the line. You can't. I mean, you'll use an entire and probably just cover half of it if you use an entire can of fixative. And so just do it on the lines. There's no need to cover the whole paper. And that's that. Very simple stuff. Very simple work. Yeah, that's that. If you guys have any questions, you guys can always contact me. And yeah, we'll say something. I don't know. Man, I gotta rest. I've been at this for a while. Look at that. I love these oil pastels. They it's like painting with a marker. A marker that doesn't really it doesn't have that many dry and wet spots, That's what markers do. I used to love doing, sketches with markers and whatnot, but I got tired of it at some point because it has so many parts where it's dry and wet, and I don't like that. I like the continuity of charcoal or the continuity of oil pastels. I like it. Can we do one more? Oh, I wish. We're gonna end it here. What are you doing this? What are you doing with this large format? This large formats, I sell them. I upload them online. And thank you so much, Marcela. I appreciate it. I upload them online and sell them. It's a total art piece. Totally. Absolutely. Yeah, I put them online. Usually on I mean, I put them everywhere, but usually on Saatchi is where I have the most luck with these larger ones. People on Saatchi, I think they're looking for more contemporary stuff. They're looking for not the usual stuff. Usually on Etsy or even eBay, people tend to look more for the smaller stuff, the smaller format. But I found on Saatchi and on my other mediums. I have quite a bit of collectors who like to buy this kind of stuff, and so I shoot them an email and yeah, offer it to them. Is it straight No, it's not canvas. This is paper. This is on paper. I do some on canvas as well. I do some on stretch canvas and on stretch canvas as well. Yeah, it just the whole thing is to try to keep, to stay busy and moving, because that's where the ideas come from. The ideas as an artist don't really come from sitting there and thinking about them. They really pop out of doing. And so I try to do, like, most of my stuff that you guys see me do, of course, is right there in that corner. But I do so much more work that I don't really show here on Instagram. And one of the reasons is because a lot of my business comes from auctions, and so I constantly move there. Fearless. I wish I could go like that. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. It's just some practice and keep moving in that direction. As you can see, look, I have house paint. I use house paint. I use everything. It doesn't really matter what I use. The whole point is to keep moving. And so there you guys have it. I try to show you a little bit of what I do throughout my days. Take care. I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace out.